and welcome to my garden. Today we're in a part of the garden that I'm hoping one day will be a thriving permaculture garden. I'm going to do some work on one of the contour banks and I'll explain it all to you as I go. So the idea behind the contour bank is to catch and store energy, and the energy in this case is the water that rushes downhill when we have big rains. We also have the chook shed just off camera over there, so when that water comes down, hopefully it'll bring all the nutrients from the chicken droppings with it. Now you can see this is a bit neglected at the moment. I didn't have a lot of time to get to it in the last few months, so the weeds have come up. So today I'm going to be weeding, and I'm also going to be planting this lovely blood orange that I was given as a birthday gift months ago now. I haven't had a spot for it and it's suffering. It really needs to go in the ground. So just over here I had an anise myrtle, which is an Australian native. It didn't like the spot and it perished. So I'm going to replace it with the blood orange. What we did here with the contour banks is we laid down a whole heap of sticks and bigger pieces of wood if we could find them. Then we covered them with the material composted and not composted from my compost bin. Then we covered it with some local manure from up the road, and then we covered it with topsoil. As you can see, it's very fertile. The first step in a permaculture garden, according to the people who know, Bill Mollinson, the first thing you should do is plant your trees, because your trees are going to take the longest to grow. So you want that upper layer of your food forest going first. So that's why I want to put the blood orange in, because it obviously is one of my trees. Over here you can see I've got a native olive which is doing beautifully in this spot. It was very small before. This here is an interesting one. This is a native elderberry. Now this one, I got distracted when I was weeding a little while ago and I ripped this plant out by accident. I quickly put it back in the soil, I filled it up again, I gave it lots of seaweed emulsion, and as you can see, it's come back. It's defoliated a little bit. It's usually much leafier than this, but it has actually come back, thank goodness, because it's one of my favourite trees. Another one. Okay, so let's have a look. We've got tomatoes here, they can stay. We've got parsley, obviously that can stay. There's heaps of rockets. We've got basil over here flowering. There's a couple of big bok choy plants and some spinach. I've got a cucurbit over there that I don't know what it is, but I was given it and I can't wait to see what it is. So there's a spider there, I might not dig there. The anise myrtle was about here somewhere. I'm going to have to dig up some of the stuff that I've got, but that's okay, because as you can see, I've got plenty. Now all of these ones I just leave to self-seed. This is my second crop through on this. Most of this stuff has self-seeded from the first crop, which is very, very handy because it saves work. And that's the idea with a permaculture garden. A lot of work to set up, but eventually you cut your work right down and keep your yields up. Okay. Going to get in here with a plumbing shovel because it's nice and sharp. You can see the soil is quite friable. Now that's because of all the work we put into it and the nutrients underneath. Now I don't need a wide hole, I just need a deep hole. I don't have to worry about extra area in this because this soil is so good. Usually when we plant in our very poor soil, we will dig much wider and deeper than we need to. There we go. Now, let's check whether that is deep enough. Yep, that should do it. Alright, I'm going to have to be very careful with this. I don't want to damage the roots. This plant's already stressed enough. I shouldn't be pulling on the trunk. Oh yes, it's very root bound. Look at all those roots. I'll get closer so you can see. You can see all the roots coming out the side. Really needs to go in the ground. Okay, backfill that and all that good soil. And make sure all the roots are covered. Hopefully there are enough seeds from previous crops to quickly grow in the soil I've just disturbed. Now this has seaweed emulsion in it, but I used a powder. The powder is far more economical and it uses less packaging, which is great for the environment. But I'm just going to make sure it's properly stirred in. And then I'm going to give this a good water. Seaweed emulsion is a great root conditioner, stimulates root growth, it's not too heavy in nutrition. I don't want to stress this tree out at the moment by fertilising it too much. I want to give it a chance to settle in and recover, and then in a week or two I'll fertilise, probably with a citrus fertiliser. As I say, this soil's pretty fertile anyway. Now, citrus typically don't like anything right in their root zone, so I'm going to show you a handy little excuse me, a handy little trick that I learned on Gardening Australia. This is shell grit. So that we had for our chickens when we still had chickens. We're going to get some more soon. But our flock perished and we let that happen because we wanted to renovate the chook shed. Let that happen without replacing it. I mean, we didn't kill the chook. So all I'm doing is right around where I know the roots are at the moment, I'm placing handfuls of shell grit. And what that will do is it'll act like a mulch and it'll prevent weeds coming up, and it'll also leach calcium into the soil. And citrus loves calcium. There we go. Nice covering of shell grit, and hopefully around the bottom there where the soil's still bare we'll get some rocket or radish or pak choy coming up soon. Okay, now for weeding. We've got to get some weeds out of here. Now this one is Alpetonia excelsa. It's the soap tree. If you've seen my video about the soap trees, you know how much I love soap trees. I hate pulling them out, but I might try and dig them out and pot them so that I can put them where I want when I'm ready. This is obviously grass, it's got to go. I usually create a pile of weeds and let it compost. Here we've got some blackberry nightshade. Now you can see it's eaten. It's been eaten by this little fella just here. Can you see that little lady beetle? That is a spotted potato beetle, or spotted potato ladybird, and they eat the foliage of plants in the potato family, and this is from the potato family. These green berries are absolutely toxic, as is that little lighter coloured berry in the middle, but the glossy ones, the fully ripe ones, if they just fall into my fingers, which they do, that is ripe, and apparently you can eat that. I've not tried it yet. The chooks love those blackberries, and so I'm going to throw this up near the chook shed so that when we finish the yard we're putting around it, it'll grow in the yard and the chooks will enjoy the berries. Nothing like a good forage for any animals that you keep. I'm not sure what this plant is. It's very pretty. Might leave that until I identify it. I don't like to pull out weeds unless I know what I'm pulling out, just in case. Oh, there's lots of bees around here. Okay, this. Alright, here's another one that's interesting. This is amaranth. Now this is an ancient grain, and it's supposed to be one of the grains of the future. These little leaves pack a huge punch of protein. Again, another one that I haven't eaten, but I will try it when I can. I want to get an absolutely positive ID on one of the plants I've got so that I know that what I'm thinking is right. Which is always a good rule of thumb when you are going to eat something you've never eaten before, is to research it well. Now this tenacious thing, you see those purple flowers? The name I know for this is mist flower, and I believe they're harmful to livestock. Oh look, they're also getting eaten. I always plant more than I need, so that if the wildlife or the bugs get into something, I've still got produce. And I've also got thriving biodiversity. I've got a lot of predator bugs though, and they seem to take care of most of the pests that eat things. Okay, I'm going to have a shot at digging up this little soap tree. Though it is in the hard dirt, not on the bank, white on the bank. Oh, I may not have much of a chance at this. No chance. Our ground is hard as. I'm going to leave those soap trees to offer a little bit of shade. With our Queensland sun, we don't have to worry about full sun, meaning the whole day, because our sun is hotter, and I find things that are full sun are happy with just morning sun or just afternoon sun. This patch actually gets morning sun and afternoon sun, but it's a bit shaded in the morning, in the middle of the day, which is good because that's when it's hottest. Okay, well, I'm going to keep going. Thanks for watching. I hope you've got something out of today, and I'm sure we'll be back near the contour bank soon. Don't forget to post a comment if you've got a question.